Hello and good afternoon. My name is Josh Placer from Game Wisdom, and in this video, this is a live spotlight of the game Luna's Wandering Stars. This is a physics-based puzzle title from Serenity Forge, and my guest tonight to talk with us about the game and hopefully help me through some of the puzzles is founder and lead designer of Serenity Forge. His name is, I'm going to try to pronounce his name and hopefully not butcher this live, Zenhua, but
Yeah,
I'm going to call him Z for this cast just to make it easier for me.
that's actually pretty good.
Yes, I did a lot better live. See, it's the pressure of doing live stuff. It helps your tongue, it helps you talk. But, Z, to get things rolling, while we're waiting for people to hopefully come in for the live part of this video, why don't you talk to the folks a little about the studio and what Luna's Wandering Stars is?
Okay, yeah. Serenity Forge is a pretty small game studio here in Boulder, Colorado. We're about 12 people right now, and we are aimed towards making more value, meaning-driven video games. Luna's Wandering Stars is one of our first games. We released Luna's on Steam just last month, and it's a planetary physics puzzle game. So what we did with the game is, you know how there are games like Angry Birds and very addicting puzzle games out there. What we did with the game is that we added 100% real physics into a very addicting puzzle game that involves planetary physics. So when you're playing the game, you're kind of secretly learning rocket science, all of the different F equals ma and all of the physics equations out there. So that's what Luna's Wandering Stars is.
Cool. So we're going to be playing a few of the levels of the game. We'll be going through them in some order, just due to the mechanics, which we'll talk about more in a few minutes. But first thing I want to go over with you, Z, is right now on the screen we obviously have the play option, but then there's also custom and online. If you could just talk a little bit about what will be coming later on in Luna's Wandering Stars, hopefully as a future update real soon.
Yeah, that's actually happening real soon.
Okay.
It'll be here in time for the summer sale on Steam.
Cool.
The custom and online are basically the same kind of portion. Custom means that you can build your own custom levels. The game features a very extensive level editor that has a lot of functionalities for you to build your own levels, use all the different powers in the game, build whatever really physics simulations that you're interested in building. And the online portion would be the part where you share all these levels with friends, with strangers, and with just anyone. And you can play them and rate them and share the ones that you built, just to kind of create more of a community that kind of enjoys these physics-based planetary physics games.
Cool.
The level editor actually does not require any kind of programming, so you can just drag and drop and build your own levels.
Alright, so let's get to the actual game menu here. So obviously we have our 9, well, I guess technically 8 planets now, if we really counting science-wise. But
Yeah.
each planet basically represents a group of levels, which also represents a game mechanic or a puzzle. Now, I'm not I forgot, I'm sorry, if the beginning, did you go over the basic gameplay of Luna yet? Or if not, we can talk about that now.
Oh, not really. I mean, the game features 8 planets and then Pluto. Well, each planet and Pluto. We'll just include Pluto to the planets to make it easier. Each planet features a completely different power. So, for example, Mercury would feature a more of a drag, velocity, and acceleration kind of a gameplay. Whereas a different planet like Mars you would be shooting lasers to get rid of obstacles. So there are a lot of different ways to play this game, and it all has real physics in it, and you can kind of see how different powers would behave differently under different circumstances.
Cool. Now, in terms of coming up with the power design, how did you think of which powers you want to include in the game, and were there any of them that either didn't meet your standards or were just left on the cutting room floor?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good topic to talk about. Surprisingly enough, all 9 powers were very similar to our very original visions. We first started, I think, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, um, and Saturn were all exactly the same as our first iteration a long, long time ago. And then Jupiter, the redirect, is actually completely different from what we had before.
Mm-hmm.
We had the black hole from Neptune
Yep.
be the Jupiter one. Then we realized the black hole power is just a little too hard to understand, so we moved it later.
Mm-hmm.
And then also for the wormhole for Uranus, that was completely different from back in the days. We actually had time stop for Uranus at one point where you can stop time and things would so basically all the objects that are currently in motion would be paused while the moon is not affected, so the moon keeps on going.
Mm-hmm.
While that was a really fun power, it wasn't very interactive. So because all you do is you just time things and stop and start, it's not as exciting. So we ended up removing that power. And the wormholes actually came from a power that we called teleport back then, where you could teleport your moon to where your cursor is, but keeping the velocity
Mm-hmm.
that I had at the time. So we ended up using wormholes, and that became a much better experience. Pluto became a lot easier. I know you'd already tried the game, and Pluto must have been very difficult when
Yeah.
you tried it. Pluto actually used to be even harder than that. And what we instead of just moving it to your mouse, Pluto used to have a rocket just like how your moon did on Venus,
Mm-hmm.
and that made the planet move and all that stuff. But it used to be much more difficult.
Mm.
And for the old Neptune, we actually had this really cool power called the wall. So basically, you build a wall, and there was a lot of trigonometry that happened. You build a wall, and the moon can bounce off of it, kind of like a refraction kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that was quite difficult too. So we ended up removing that power.
Cool. So I've been playing a few levels of Mercury, which is of course the first world, and this is the first basic interaction. You're basically just launching your moon out on the velocity. You can see, those of you watching this, you can see the sort of, I guess that's like a bluish or maybe like a very light purple band that is showing off the basic idea of where my moon's going to go. Now, in terms of basic gameplay, even though each planet has a different mechanic or different rules to follow, the progression model remains the same. You have to fill up your moon with either the blue or gold asteroids. And why don't you tell the folks, Z, what makes the gold asteroids so special and why you should be going after them?
Well, first of all, they are extremely difficult to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
The gold asteroids are the basically the challenge pieces that you collect to try to unlock more levels.
Mm-hmm.
The more gold you collect, the more worlds that you unlock. Of course, you can unlock more worlds without having to collect any gold asteroid, actually. Mm-hmm. If you just beat all the levels in one world, you unlock the next one.
Okay.
So, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the gold is really the pieces that we put into the game to kind of incentivize players to perfect levels and really grasp the understanding of physics in this game.
Ooh,
that was close.
Yeah. And how did you guys come up with, I guess, the placement for the gold asteroids compared to the blue ones? Because some of the levels, it can get... Look at me go there.
Yeah, it's well, first of all, right now in this level, if you're waiting for something to happen, it's not. Yeah, it's when something is locked in a or closed orbit, then it's obviously not going to change over time. So that's one of the interesting physics properties out there. The only way for your orbit to change is for you to... Oh, that was really close too.
Yeah.
The only way for your orbit to change is to change your mass, for example, when you collect asteroids. So yeah, so I mean the gold pieces, some levels are extremely difficult, some levels are a little easier. We kind of did that purposely just so that we kind of give the players more incentive as time goes on. Oh, hey, I can do this, so I'm going to try harder or something like that, because if we just make it harder and harder over time, this game, it's going to get really grueling. So we kind of have varying difficulty in the game. Like, for example, this level, it's not very hard to just beat it and collect some blue ones, but collecting all the gold ones is quite annoying. This is one of the first levels that was the gold, where the gold was actually pretty difficult to get.
Yeah, I did this before while I was looking at the game for my review, and I completely forgot what I did to make that work.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did I do this time? Come down.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh.
So close. And of course, we have to talk about your little communication messages. We have the sort of narrator. He gets a little, kind of eggs you on as you mess up, or if you barely make it with the blue asteroids. How do you decide just like how far you want to like rib on the player for messing up?
Yeah, so the comm messages, you know, in the beginning we had a lot of different iterations on what kind of a story we wanted to tell in this game. At first, oh wow, maybe a little bit more force and less angle. So try that. So like maybe yeah.
Let's see. Don't go too much.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another one because we'll be here for a while.
Yeah. So you know, at first when we had this game, we actually had an iteration of the story where it was more aimed towards kids, and that didn't go very well. We had all these faces on the planets and everything, and we told kind of this limerick kind of poem on each. Oh, that was close. On each planet. Yeah, there you go. That should be better.
Ooh.
Oh. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's short down a little bit. Come on.
Oh.
Oh.
Try yeah, there you go. Try something lower angled like that.
Let's see.
Because you wanted to go a little faster.
Yeah.
Maybe that might have been a little too fast.
Let's see. And it's good you have the guidelines so you can see what you did previously.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There you go.
There we go. Much better. Alright, we'll do a few more Mercury and then we'll move on to our next planet. So while we're going through this, now obviously we talked about how 8 planets including Pluto. Are there any plans, or have you started coming up with any new planets or things to be featured in possibly future DLC?
Yeah, we actually have already finished building 45 challenge levels.
Ooh.
So those levels are really pushing players to the limit. They, they're much more difficult than when you're playing through right now, and we have players who are asking for more of a challenge, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a testing of our online feature in the past, and when we did it, we had all sorts of players from around the world play the game, make their own levels, share them, and some of those levels that we saw that players made were way more difficult and way more ambitious, I guess, than some of the levels that we have made so far, and it made us realize that there are some really hardcore players out there who are looking for more, and that's we're planning on releasing those probably later this year, not too long from now.
Now the challenge levels, are they going to be based on different planets, or are they going to be based on the original 9 in the game right now?
It's going to be based on the original 9. What's going to happen is we're going to have 5 challenge levels per planet.
Okay.
So that makes a total of 45.
Will they be unlocked from the start, or will the player have to do something special for them?
It's all going to be gold asteroids again. The more gold you collect, the more you're going to unlock them. It's going to be very similar to how Mario Galaxy handled unlocking new levels.
Alright. So this level introduces these little asteroids that will just slow your moon down even more. And what was the balance, or how you decide to have this kind of obstacle? Or we'll talk about some of the other obstacles later on, but let's start with this one. Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the asteroid fields are what the purple ones are right now. They slow you down. So basically, what happens is whatever velocity you're going at the time, it'll be halved. So it doesn't necessarily mean it'll slow you down. For example, if you're going at 0 velocity, then it's still going to remain 0. So the faster you go, the more it'll slow you down. And you can see how, like, when you're slow already, it doesn't actually slow you down that much. You know, these are just a few of the obstacle things. They're not, I wouldn't even call them obstacles, because sometimes they really help you out. So it's just one of the things that kind of, it's a modification to your physics property that's during the gameplay, instead of, you know, having to plan ahead of time and kind of add more variety. I mean, later on we're gonna come across a couple more other obstacles that we'll probably talk about. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just one of the first ones that we wanted to introduce earlier in the game.
All right. So let's move on from Mercury, and we'll try out Venus. So for this one, we change up the powers, and now you can basically alter your velocity simply by clicking, and you can see Venus going like that, or I'm sorry, the moon going like that. Come on, get around. And I went way too fast there. So with this kind of mechanic, you said earlier that the first few planets you kept very close to your original vision in terms of the mechanic. Was there any unusual balancing or playtesting you need to do with this mechanic, since obviously this is the first time the player is directly controlling the moon?
Yeah. For Venus, we had a lot of issues during playtesting, actually. People saying that Venus was way too difficult. What we actually did is we one iteration of the game, we switched the powers of Venus and Mars. And we had it so that you start shooting lasers as soon as the second world happened. Then we got actually way more negative feedback on the game because people are sitting here expecting to play a physics-related game, and Mars, well, doesn't have too much of a physics property in it.
Interesting.
So ultimately, we realized that Venus is actually a better idea for the game because it shows a lot more of the physics property of the game, and it's relatively is a pretty easy concept to understand. It's just when you get to these levels where you're in an orbit, that's when it kind of gets difficult.
Yeah.
Because not everyone can think, can kind of expect what to happen when you're in an orbit and you apply a force. I mean, one way to put it is that Venus is literally rocket science. This is exactly what rocket scientists do. They think about when they should apply a force to the rocket that's in an orbit or on the way to an orbit, and how that would affect their orbit. So, for example, it's very obvious you played this game and grasped the philosophy behind it already.
Yeah.
But for a new player reaching this level, it's usually a lot more difficult.
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time messing up on this before. Now, one thing that I want to ask you about, you just said with the switch from Venus to Mars, when you made Mars, well, tell you, not so much you switched the planets, you switched the mechanics around, that people didn't like Mars as a starter level due to the more action-based or less physics-based gameplay there. And that's one thing I wanted to ask you about, Z. With some of the later mechanics, as we get later on, we'll show them, the game becomes a lot, I'm not sure I would say Twitch-focused, but definitely becomes more action-focused when you start altering your moon trajectory directly. With those types of levels, when you get to some of the more action-based stuff, how did the fan base respond to those levels when it's less about the physics and more about how quickly you can click or how quickly you can maneuver your plan around?
I think people respond pretty positively in general. At first, when we called this a puzzle game when we tried to release it, then we realized that it's more of an action game after a little bit. Especially right now, I mean, you can tell that this is, someone is not gonna compare this to Bejeweled while playing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So, I think the action part really helps because it kind of puts the physics in action essentially. I mean, how else would you do something like this? We wanted to start a little slower, which is what Mercury is. It is much slower compared to the rest of the gameplay. Just so that you can kind of get introduced to how the physics works out there. How the whole, like the planetary mechanics, how orbits all work, and now that you kind of get used to it, we kind of want to challenge players a little bit more to kind of have more twitch reaction, more speed in their gameplay.
Now, if you look at this level very carefully, there's actually text. You can see that all around here. Oh, I think I lost Z again. Are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. You kind of cut out there for a second.
Yeah, I muted my mic to go grab something. Didn't want to create any disturbance.
Okay. So if you look over here, we can see some text going on here. Nice little treat there. Don't go. Oh, I'm going. There I go.
Yeah, we had to define some kind of a boundary for the game,
Hmm.
and at first we just had giant black boxes. So if you go out to a black box, you go outside the box, you just kind of start over.
Hmm.
But then we realized, hey, why not make it a little bit more comical? Since we have this comic, everything is kind of like a simulation, right? And there's this narrator and everything, so we ended up deciding to do something like that. Kind of
Oh,
fits the theme.
yeah. I do like how this puzzle sort of subverts what you are telling the player. It says there's 4 directions, but it's really a lot more when you start to play around the angles.
Right, right.
Let's
It's
see.
we want to encourage players to think outside the box. There are plenty of different ways to beat every single level. We've actually, during conventions, we would show this game, and we would see people beat certain levels that we had no idea that was a possibility before.
Get down
So,
there. Get down. Oh, no.
oh, that's so close.
No. Oh, there I go. Can I save it?
Oh,
Come on.
maybe,
come on,
maybe.
Come on.
Oh, oh,
Come on. No, no, don't hit that.
oh.
And I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out of there. But yeah, it is interesting, as you said, Z, that a lot of these puzzles, especially when you start adding in the Twitch-based gameplay, do lend themselves to different solutions that you wouldn't think of. There's one level later on, I think it's the Labyrinth one, where there's actually achievement for completely subverting what the actual puzzle is.
Yeah.
All right,
The
so
labyrinth. Oh,
yep. Oh, go ahead.
that's part of the Venus levels.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's called the Temple of Doom or something like that. Yeah, we'll
Oh,
get there pretty soon. I think we're almost there.
yeah, come on, get up there. Get up there. So this is definitely one where you're clicking a lot. You can see I have 200
Yeah.
starting out. I can't hit those little red bombs. But I also have to click enough blue along with the yellow. Come on, get back. Get back there. I think I may have screwed up. So with this one, obviously these types of levels, when you have a lot more motion, require a different philosophy, a different design process. What was it like coming up with these levels when you start really getting crazy with the boost mechanic and just with the game design in general?
We just want players to have fun. We added a complete variety of different kind of gameplay. Like the one earlier, you only have one power, and you have to choose the direction and kind of see how it goes. This one will give you 200 different, 200 boosts, so you can go wherever you want, and just give you this kind of like vast, open kind of world where you can just go everywhere, interact with physics. Still has Venus in play, so you can see that Venus is constantly pulling you towards it. But at the same time, you kind of have a lot of freedom of control.
Yeah. Now, this one is kind of interesting because you sort of condition the player not to go for the blue asteroids at the start, but this time you really do need to go through them just so you have enough to clear the level once you get to
Right.
that final gold.
Right, you really do need a lot of blues on this one. And usually, yeah, you just kind of have to hit one of these lines. I think we call this level Wave Racer or something like that, because it looks like an ocean wave, and you're just kind of swimming down it.
Oh, I'm really going through my boost now. Oh, nope, no more. Did I do it? I think I
Oh, I think you can have one more. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Come on.
I think
gotta
it's
get
perfect.
up there. Come on. Click,
Oh no.
click. There
Yeah.
we go. Whew.
Perfect.
So this is definitely a level that requires some Twitch skills involved.
And a lot of clicking.
Oh yeah. Another question from when you did testing and feedback from your fan base, did people respond to these very click focused levels that well?
One of the things that we considered really doing is to make it so that you can just hold your mouse and it'll just constantly boost, and then that way you don't have to click all the time. But then we realized that it's going to be hard to kind of measure your power that way. For a puzzle game, it's a lot better for you to like measure just by the number of clicks rather than like maybe how long you held it. We ended up deciding to just kind of keep this mechanic the way that it is, because there's only a certain amount of levels that really would be better if you held your mouse. Like for example, that one where you choose the 4 directions, that wouldn't really do anything if you. I mean, we wouldn't have that level anymore if it's just holding your mouse.
Yeah.
It's just not quite the same, you know.
And it does give you a little bit more tactile feedback when you actually click, and you can tell. You basically count with the clicks, as you said.
Right, right.
Alright, I think we've seen enough of Venus. Are there any other interesting levels or designs in Venus before we move on to another planet?
Venus, I'm trying to think. Oh, the Temple of Doom is a pretty cool one. If you want to go check out that one, it's your choice.
Sure.
I think that's like later on, like
Here, Temple of Mines.
yeah, Temple of Mines. I guess we changed it.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh. So this one almost becomes like a platformer. Oh no.
A little bit, and it's just really crazy looking.
And again, this is like completely flips the script of the game on its head. Come on.
Right, because the whole time you're playing this very physics-related thing. It has orbits and planets, and this one it doesn't have any more planets. It's just you in this minefield, and it's all about Newton's second law. I mean, or not Newton's second law, first law, I guess. Whenever there's a force, you have to apply an equal and opposite force to keep it the same way. It's the same thing. If you apply a force to the right, that's close.
So close.
If you apply a force to the right, then you have to apply the same exact force to the left to make yourself stop. Essentially, it's just what force is like in a vacuum.
Now, with this kind of physics system, how long did it actually take you guys to come up with the actual physics for Luna?
Actually, the physics part isn't too difficult because I mean the equations already exist. All you have to do is just put in the gameplay. It's a little surprising why game designers don't use more real physics, really. Like Angry Birds, for example, they write their own physics system, and it's completely different from what real world is.
Yeah.
And like this, we just kind of pulled all the different physics equations out there that currently exist, and we just put in the game. It's not, it really wasn't that hard. It's probably setting up the physics system was probably the shortest or easiest part of this whole game, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting why too many developers don't use it, because again, it does lend itself to real world. Oh, come on, get that? I completely missed one, by the way. Oh, here come the mines.
Oh yeah, this one is actually we changed a lot of levels since the beginning of the game. We actually probably rebuilt all of the levels maybe twice throughout the whole development process.
Okay.
And this was one of the levels that stayed the same since the very beginning. This was a fairly easy level in the beginning.
Oh, you hear that motorcycle outside my window?
Yeah.
Alright. Now, keeping with the balance of the game, how did you decide if a level was too hard, too easy, or need to be made a little different?
Honestly, there's no easy way for us to do it besides the fact that we just play it and feel like it's too hard or too easy. In the beginning, everything was very difficult. Like, for example, I think this level had 10 boosts instead of 50. And this was one of the easier levels of the first few levels that we made. It's really easy to make this game hard.
Yes.
It's actually much more difficult to make this game easy. I had to go back and remake all the levels and make them much easier than what they are right now or before. And this level stayed mainly because it was a pretty fun level. It's very crazy, a lot of stuff going on. We ended up keeping the level, increased the number of powers so you can just maneuver yourself a little better. And and it ended up turning out to be one of the hardest levels anyways.
Yeah. Hopefully I can actually beat it live. I did this before, but it took so many practice. Come on, get around there. Oh no. No.
Yeah. All about maneuver.
Alright, so I need to hit at least 2 blues in order for it to count. Now, that actually brings to another question. How did you decide like the number of asteroids that you need to beat a level? Because it definitely changes, and then you have to think about blue versus gold and whatnot.
When we first started building this game, we actually had a goal of 10. So every single level had the same exact goal, which is having 10 bars around you. And on average, we put the default in the level editor before we kind of started making all the levels. We just had the default of each asteroid giving you 2, so that means you collect around 5 asteroids every level to beat the level. And that ended up sticking. You can kind of see this level has that same exact pattern. You have 10 bars and you need to collect 5 asteroids to win.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess that, oh, that was
Oh, so
needed
close.
one more boost.
Boom.
So that ended up dictating a lot of our design decisions, unfortunately, without much choice. And then later on, we kind of changed the whole system, added more levels, more variety it's needed. For example, the wave racer level earlier. That's obviously you're gonna need a lot more just so that you give the player a little bit more freedom to fly around and experience the power.
All right. We'll move on to Earth now. So this one, again, we change the game further. Now we're just controlling the gravitational pull of Earth, as you can see, which in turn affects where your asteroid is. So with this kind of mechanic, this was another one you said that was pretty close to where it was originally, right, Z?
Right. The difference between the final version and the initial version is that you actually had a number of you had a limited number of changes to the gravity, and you get to choose what it is. So, like for example, you would click on a certain part of the screen, and it would move the ring there on like how much gravity there is, and you would have maybe like 5 clicks. So instead of just having a completely dynamic thing like this where you just constantly change it, you would only be able to change it a certain number of times, and that made the game so much more harder.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like it was essentially like impossible for anyone to play this game besides really crazy physics people.
So this is probably the first set of plans I've had the most trouble with, just with getting the balance right. So do you have any tips for people for this set of plans? Because obviously this is where we get to one of the bigger changes in terms of the actual control scheme and the puzzles.
Right. When I play this, I just kind of look at it as if you're driving. So when you're driving, you turn the steering wheel either left or right to go in whatever direction. It's kind of like the same thing here. If you feel like you want to go closer towards the planet, you move your mouse to the left. If you want to go further away, you move your mouse to the right. And that's kind of how this all these levels kind of work. You also have to kind of predict and have a lead time. Like if you make your gravity really strong, you can't expect for you to suddenly just teleport to the moon or to the Earth, right?
Yeah.
You have to kind of wait and have that lead time before it happens.
Come on, get back there. Come on.
Oh, just collect that one.
There we go.
Yeah.
And again, this definitely changes the mechanics around. And I'm just wondering again, how, in terms of your fan base, did you get a lot of people who were interested more from the physics side of things, or people who are just like general puzzle fans?
I think at first we were trying to target more of the general puzzle fans, but ultimately it was the physics people that became the really hardcore fans. Because there's really not a lot of games like this out there.
Yeah.
That uses real physics and you play with planetary mechanics. I mean, we had people from SpaceX, actually, engineers from SpaceX that played this game and said that this is the exact kind of game that they wish that they had when they were kids. And they would have because they love rockets, they love all this physics stuff, and they're engineers now because of it. And this is the exact kind of games that they've been looking for pretty much all their lives, and that makes us feel good. It's like, oh wow, there's a lot of people that really like this game. But then you meet like the hardcore puzzle players, and like, oh, there's too much action or not enough not enough puzzle. It's all trial and error. There's a lot of that happening. And I mean, they're right. It's true. It is a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of physics, a lot of action, and that's why it's always been really hard to categorize this game. Is it a puzzle game? Not really. There's a lot of action. Yeah. Is it an action game? Well, no, definitely not a purely action game. Yeah. So yeah, it's more of an action puzzle both together.
Now, in our podcast a few weeks ago, did you tell me that you showed this to like Bill Nye or something?
Yeah, we did. We showed it through a space symposium last year down in Colorado Springs.
Cool. And he enjoyed it too?
Yeah, he really appreciated the educational value of this game. We don't really cram any kind of education inside this game. When you play the game, you're definitely learning. You're definitely understanding how orbits work and how gravity works. For example, here on Earth,
Hmm.
these Earth levels, not here on Earth literally, but um, but like kids, that's how kids learn nowadays. They get exposed to these things, and then
Hmm.
they play these games and have fun, and then they learn how certain things would behave. And
Hmm.
by the time they get into physics classes, they'll have inherent understanding without without having to just memorize equations and
Hmm.
imagine how it would work in space. They can literally feel it and play it right now.
Yeah. It's definitely more of a passive learning experience. Because again, as you said, Z, no one's stopping the game to throw up a equation or anything like that. It's just, as you said, trial and error learning. And that's, of course, a very powerful tool for teaching someone how something works. Because you can see over this play, I'm slowly getting the hang of it. And as you said, that's not really what a traditional puzzle game is. Most puzzle games are really a black or white type of feel. You
Right.
solve it or you don't, and you keep playing until you get the actual solution. But this, because of the physics involved, there's a lot more of just figuring out where you need to be, and of course that requires a lot of failure in order to get it right, which is really what rocket scientists is. They didn't shoot to the moon on the very first attempt, obviously.
Right. And also, if you are, impatient about certain levels, you can always hold shift
Hmm.
to speed up the game. And, just like, because later on when you play this game, you're just doing trial and error over and over again.
Hmm.
It's, we added that mechanic just so that people can speed up their process because they already know what's going to happen. Might as well
Hmm.
make it faster and just,
Yeah,
go start
cool.
something new.
Now the blue line, I'm just wondering, that shows you where the gravity is. I've
Hmm.
been trying to use that as a guide to where my moon will actually go. Is that correct? Or does this not really represent like a guideline for the moon's trajectory?
It's kind of like a subconscious guideline. That's
Hmm.
actually exactly why we made it so that the bigger ring is less gravity and the smaller ring is more gravity.
Hmm.
We actually had a lot of debate about that inside the team
Yeah.
about which way makes sense because a lot of people say, "Oh, the smaller ring obviously means smaller gravity, right?"
Yeah.
That's logically that would make sense. But when you do that, you make the smaller ring and
Hmm.
then you go farther away from the Earth, then
Hmm.
it kind of feels really weird, right?
Yeah.
Like if you imagine that scenario.
Hmm.
So we ended up doing a lot of playtesting and then made it so that the bigger ring is less gravity and the smaller ring is more gravity.
Hmm.
And that when you're playing the game, you kind of have this subconscious feeling where it's like, oh, bigger ring means I'm gonna be farther, smaller ring I'm gonna be closer. When it's actually, like logically speaking, it should be the opposite.
I just checked the Twitch chat. I think you have a fan or someone who knows you in the chat right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry, let me go. I haven't looked at the chat. Let's see.
While I'm busy slamming into the earth in various directions. Oh,
Yeah,
there.
I posted this on my Facebook earlier and totally forgot to tweet it. I just tweeted it right now. Let's see.
Come on.
Where's the chat?
Should be on the right hand side of Twitch if you go to the Twitch channel.
Oh, I didn't end up. Cause I opened the Twitch way too late, so it doesn't have
Alright.
the previous chat message.
I think he says, "Hey Z, it's Ian," on the Twitch right now.
Oh, I think that's one of my college friends or one of my old college buddies from years ago from Illinois.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. Oh boy. I've just like blew up the earth, I think, in 8 different ways
Yeah.
in this one thing. Yeah, this is definitely where I think the game got really hard, at least for me. Oh, come on.
I mean, I don't blame you. Earth levels are some of the, I would say, more difficult ones for me as well. It's really funny. When we did playtesting, there are people who really enjoyed playing Earth levels.
Mhm.
There are people who said that Earth levels were literally their favorite levels in the game.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry for the amount of powers that you have. You can literally just do whatever you want indefinitely and kind of like drive this moon, right?
Yeah.
I think you're definitely stuck on one of the hardest levels for Earth to get all 3 gold asteroids. So I honestly I don't even know if I can do it on this level.
Well, at least the guy who created the game's having trouble with this, so I don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, it's that top one that screws you because you're trying to just completely. I think the problem for me is that I'm definitely a very visual person, so I need to
Mhm.
see how things are working. In this level, you're sort of guiding blind almost, because you're not exactly seeing where your velocity is going to completely end up, and then you hit that one on the top, and it just screws you up.
Right, right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that
there's
one.
not a lot of room for mistakes on this level if you want to get all the gold ones. Like even if you get the two gold ones over there,
Mm-hmm.
I think to get the last one is if you just make yourself yeah.
Come on, get in there. Get. Come on.
Oh, that's a locked orbit.
Unless I hit one of those. No. If I alter.
Oh.
No game.
Still alive.
I think I'm screwed. Yeah.
You might have to increase your. Well, you can still change your orbit because the gravity changes. So
Mm-hmm.
you might have actually gotten it there.
Ah.
Um, but it wasn't easy regardless.
Come on, get down. No. Ah.
If you lower the gravity as soon as you touch the asteroid field at that angle, I'm pretty sure you can actually survive. It's just like certain things that like
Mm-hmm.
it's all twitch mechanics. It's twitch mechanics and like a really strong intuition of what happens. Like right there, as soon as you collected the asteroid field,
Mm-hmm.
and you just shoved your mouse all the way to the right, you would have just came down to Earth and go back into our orbit there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you can actually survive that.
Ah. Alright, let's move on to another one there.
Go ahead and move on.
Alright, let's see. Because I don't have too much of Earth unlocked, I don't think I'll be able to show off a lot of the even crazier levels. Come on. Zoom
Yeah,
in.
I mean,
No. Oh.
Earth is Earth is in general one of the it's like you like it or you don't kind of levels.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something we noticed. It's I mean it's some people just don't like this mechanic or like don't feel the kind of the intuition in the design itself,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. That's why we made it so that you can unlock other planets
Yeah.
and skip certain ones that you just don't enjoy playing.
And I think it's a good thing you did that, Z, to give it a lot more freedom in the puzzle design. And I think what's interesting, when you said a few minutes ago that you're going to have Mars in place of Venus, so we'll have gone the basic velocity, shooting, and then this. It just seems very interesting in terms of laying things out. With the later mechanics, which we'll talk about probably in a few more minutes, did you have to alter like their order in any way?
Yeah, definitely. When the Neptune, the black hole power,
Mm-hmm.
we had to that used to be Jupiter. Used to be
Okay.
much earlier in the game, and because the later mechanics were even more difficult, like the wall, which was trigonometry,
Mm-hmm.
and also Pluto's planet rockets, that was extremely difficult. So black hole was generally pretty easy compared to some of the later mechanics we had.
Mm-hmm.
But then we realized that maybe we should just make the whole game a little easier. So we made Pluto a little bit more intuitive. We eliminated the wall mechanic and made it so that it's the redirect that it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we switched the redirect mechanic from Neptune to Jupiter, and then we put the black hole to Neptune because black hole became harder after we made the redirect easier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's we kept everything kind of in it gets harder over time kind of mechanic, except for I guess Saturn, the density that was that kind of stayed the same the whole time, just so that we can kind of give players a break. We didn't want to put Saturn too early in the game because Saturn and Mars I think are very similar
Mm-hmm.
in terms of design. There's way less physics involved in those two mechanics, so we kind of spaced it out that way. It's like we put a couple of things in between. We put things in between. We put things around it, so that it's not all together in one bundle.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of not enjoying Earth. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, no worries.
So let's move on. You can see I barely unlocked everything. I'll try one more time. Or yeah, again, you have all these different mechanics in the game, Z, so it's kind of interesting to see how people will pick and choose their favorites. Overall, were there any planets like stand out that people loved and any ones that were, I guess, least favored, other than I guess Earth.
I think very frequently we have polar opposite polar opposite responses for
Mm-hmm.
nearly all the levels, especially some of the really crazy ones like black hole.
Mm-hmm.
We've had people say that black hole is their favorite mechanic, like
Okay.
by far. And then we had people say black hole is the most frustrating thing ever, and they just don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Venus is another one that's like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And
Mm-hmm.
then we had people say this is too hard for a puzzle game. Blah blah. Oh, nice, congrats.
Oh,
Oh yeah, this is one of the cooler levels to
oh,
look at least.
goodness.
Yeah, so I mean, it's another one of those levels that's really easy to beat, but really
Mm-hmm.
hard if you want to get all three gold ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least beating it shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Unless I just go, there I go.
I mean, this level is really cool because we really wanted to show players what it really looks like when you're in a motion kind of an orbit, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
essentially Earth is orbiting the sun right now, and then you are the moon that's orbiting Earth, and you can see how different gravity fields would affect the
Mm-hmm.
moon's motion. This is what a rocket would do. Well, I supposedly in real space,
Mm-hmm.
depending on your the gravitational force at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously it's going to be very difficult for any planet in real life to change their gravity willingly just
Yeah.
on the go, but that's the thought behind it.
Oh, there. Oh,
Oh, one more.
oh. I can see why a lot of people who like physics-based games are enjoying this type of title, because you can really just see, as we said, it really is rocket scientists and cause and effect. I was just wondering, have you looked at the game Kerbal Space Program at all as another example of like the rocket scientist-like approach to thinking?
Yeah, we absolutely have. And Kerbal Space Program was one of the first things that this game got compared to
Mm-hmm.
when we started showing it to people. I think Bill Nye actually mentioned something about it, which which was pretty cool. So yeah, it's the philosophy is very similar. It's
Mm-hmm.
we want to have some real physics behind a puzzle or some kind of game out there.
Mm-hmm.
The difference would obviously be Kerbal Space Program is a lot more of an active, or like you build your own rocket,
Mm-hmm.
you fly it to see how it works kind of a game. Whereas this is much more, yeah, this level is annoying. I don't blame you. It's and this game is a lot more of a puzzle oriented. You just kind of play in a real physics setting. It's more of it's a game that's designed to have certain levels, whereas Kerbal Space Program you just kind of build your own thing, almost like Minecraft.
Yeah. All right, one more time. Come on, come on. Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, if you just make your ring bigger, like after there you go.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you wanna lead ahead of time. You wanna make it so that it feels like there you go.
There. Whew.
Yeah.
But again, just getting through the level normally was hard enough, but getting the 3 gold asteroids is going to be really tough. I
Yeah.
like the message here. Good luck getting it. Oh boy.
Oh.
No, wrong one. No, come back. Come back. Oh, I got one. It's gonna hit that. I'm gonna hit that. Oh, I think I went too fast.
Yeah, some of these levels really get hard later on. I mean, we're at 11 for Earth already, so.
Alright, let's move on. I think it's time we show off Mars. So this is where we get even more Twitch base now. I think this is a great like palate cleanser after Earth. It's like,
Yeah.
like no, you don't want me to control you? Fine, take this. There we go. And of course, you can shoot the planet, but then bad things obviously happen. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the Steam achievements is for shooting the planet.
Hmm.
And also there's also another Mars achievement that's for shooting a red asteroid or the red mine.
Hmm.
And I think it's hilarious that there are more people that have unlocked the shooting the planet achievement than shooting the red mine, which is required to beat the first Mars level.
Wait a minute, something's not
So-
right there.
So literally there are players out there that went to this level, shot the planet, and then just stopped playing the game and never beat the first level of Mars because you need to shoot the red mine in order to beat the first level.
Yeah, wait, something's not right there.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought that was pretty funny looking at the statistics.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, see, Mars levels, some of them are much more of a puzzle kind of a thing, like kind of like this, where you just have to plan ahead of time. It's like, oh, which ones do I collect? Which ones do I shoot?
Mm-hmm. So if you can see, there was the issue. I need to shoot that bottom one.
Yeah.
So now, this time it should work.
There you go.
Nice. With this type of mechanic, again, this takes us completely out of, I guess, traditional puzzles. Now it's very much a Twitch-based game.
Yeah, and this level, for example, is a lot more of a Twitch-based level.
As you can see, now we are... Get around there. Come on. Now you have to shoot the reds, you also have to shoot the blues.
Yep.
Oh, this right there. I think I'm screwed. Yeah. 1, 2...
You get 2.
Yeah. So this kind of mechanic, you said that this was one of your original ones that you wanted in the game from the beginning to be very Twitch focused, right?
Right. And it's also fun. I mean, it's just you click and shoot. It's really intuitive. It adds a different variety to the game.
Oh. So this one actually... Now, is there actually greater thought in terms of shooting compared to just shooting the red asteroids?
Yeah, there's more. I think the screen is actually a little cut off.
Yeah.
There was a blue asteroid on the right there that you weren't able to see because of the resolution, I suppose. And if you shot that one, you could have gotten all the 3 gold.
Okay.
I was a little surprised when I saw that. I was like, "Where's that? There should be something else there. Where'd it go?"
So this one gets very interesting because they're bouncing off of each other.
Yeah.
Again, very easy to get through the level, not so easy if you want to get the perfect.
Right.
So
one of the really, I guess, advanced tactics in Mars levels is that you can actually shoot 2 objects at the same time with 1 laser if you aim it very carefully. Like, for example, those 2 bouncing asteroids that are coming at you. If you just aim a laser directly to the left, that would, the hitbox would collide with both of the asteroids, and then you would end up killing both of them with just 1 laser. And that's actually required for you to get some of the gold, 3 golds on some of these levels.
Yeah. All right. Any interesting Mars levels that we should try to shoot for?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say a giant Mars attack, which is number 14, I think. Well, I forgot what it's called. Yeah, there you go. We call it Giant Mars Attack in the because it used to be called Giant Mars Attack before we changed it for yeah. This level, we literally show this level every single one of our trailers because it just looks so cool.
Again, some of these levels just get really trippy.
Yeah. It's really hard too.
Yeah. In terms of the shooting rate, how do you decide how quickly you wanted the player to shoot these lasers compared to just, flat out blast?
We just wanted to make it so that it's not, you can't just, like spam all your shots instantly, because that changes we wanted to make it more puzzle oriented. This makes it a lot more puzzle oriented. You have to plan your shots ahead of time to make sure that it works. Yeah, there you go.
I just wanted to get through that one. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't have to. This is this level. On the other hand, is a lot more annoying.
Oh, come on. No.
It's actually not super difficult.
Again, it's not super difficult to go for the basic reward, but these gold ones are going to be a pain in the what to get to.
Yeah. You can kind of see how you just get heavier and your orbit literally just decreases. And that was the last level, so.
Alright, so we'll move on to Jupiter. Well, we're 5 planets in, 4 to go. Let's see, anyone else responding? Alright.
Oh.
So now we got Walls of Death and the redirect powers. So
yep.
You can see there.
Yeah, so the redirect power is it literally just changes your direction without changing your speed or adds any force. So what it is it takes your current velocity and redirect it somewhere else. Essentially, that's
Just
pretty
like that.
pretty straightforward.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
Like for example, one of the cool things you can do is that it's exactly what you did. You redirect it downwards so that it gains a lot of momentum. It gains a lot of speed going towards Jupiter. Because the closer it is to a planet, the more velocity the faster it'll move.
Gravity will.
And then you
affect
suddenly
it.
redirect it to somewhere else, and you kind of fling it that way.
Yeah. Come on, get back down there.
There you go. Yeah.
Again, easy to get the blues, not so easy to get all these gold. So I'm just gonna
Right.
let it fly.
Yeah, we had a lot of issues with this specific level, actually. There was a weird bug in the code that made it so that you see those 3 floating redirects that stay there forever?
Yeah.
We had a bug in the code that made it so that they disappear as soon as you start the game. And it's really weird, and we don't know why it happens, but it does. And it took us a really long time to find out that bug. It actually took us about like half a year to fix that.
Oh. Let's see. Come on. I'm going. So this one you actually have limited.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think this was definitely one of the tougher ones.
Yeah. Let's see. Again, you have the planet basically representing different sizes on the level. Let's see. Come on.
See, one of the things you can take a look. Oh, nice! Wow, first try. Oh, this level. This level is actually really tricky. You see all those gold clusters over there? You can actually collect all of those.
I know. I think this is the one that I kind of tricked on. Let's see if I remember.
Yep, there you go. So you can touch the nose of the death walls, and the nose would move, and then destroy other stuff.
Look at
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. Did it actually?
Oh, that's a really clever way of solving it. I've actually never seen people solve it this way.
Let's see. This is where I. No.
Oh no! Oh!
Come on.
Oh, it's coming towards you now. A lot of the gold are flying off to the death walls, though.
Yeah. Oh, missed it. So this is a very interesting puzzle, and there's an achievement for doing this, for basically breaking it. Come on.
Yeah, I think you can do it. Oh, you ran out of time.
Oh, but that was basically the general idea. I just took a little too long, but I did get that achievement, so I am proud of that.
Nice.
Alright, let's see. What do we have? Okay, so obviously we hit this big one. Nope. Oh. Okay, we'll speed up a little bit. Nope, we don't want to hit that. So again, this mechanic has a lot more direct control for the player compared to Earth. Now, I was wondering, how do people enjoy this mechanic?
This mechanic is actually probably the newest mechanic that we put into the game. So in terms of actual playtesting, this is probably the least playtested mechanic out of every single one that's in the game. Honestly, not a lot of feedback. I think the biggest thought behind this mechanic is, okay, it's a mechanic. You know, it's like, it's not good or bad, and it just kind of exists. And people are like, okay, yeah, that's pretty exciting. I guess I like seeing Jupiter because Jupiter looks cool. And that's generally what people would say if you ask them what they feel about Jupiter levels. Most of the levels here in Jupiter are very grandiose. We try to actually purposely do that. We try to make it so that Jupiter is always very big on the screen because Jupiter is a very cool looking planet. Whereas if you did the same thing for Mercury, it's not going to be as exciting. So, yeah.
Let's see, what's our time so far? We are at just under an hour, so we'll move a little bit quicker through these remaining 4.
Okay.
Let's see, so we'll go to Saturn. Oh yeah, this one. This one's probably one of the trickier ones, especially since you have to really adjust the control of your mouse. So is this another one that required some more play testing to get just right?
Actually, these levels are well, it's probably the absolute most intuitive levels
Mm-hmm.
in the whole game. Maybe besides Mars.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, these levels are a lot more actual puzzle based than physics based. Like for example, this level right here, it's like it's all about which ones you should collect first and which ones you should collect later,
Mm-hmm.
to try to beat it. Honestly, I've never been a huge fan of this mechanic, because
Okay.
mainly because of the design itself. It's kind of like, oh, which one do I collect first? How do you know,
Yeah.
right? And but it's like ultimately it's about mass. It's like, oh, do I want to move closer in my orbit or do I want to move farther in my orbit? Like right now, for example, you're kind of locked in orbit and
Yeah.
there's just not much you can do. It's always been like a
Mm-hmm.
struggle between, do we want to put more action levels or do we want to put more puzzle levels? How do you even define puzzle levels in
Yeah.
these games? Yeah, like this one is pretty exciting. I enjoyed this level. It's like I can see what's going on, I can
Mm-hmm.
collect things. It's fun. Some of these are more visual based, like this one. It's just like, oh look, it's a giant Saturn. It's so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, this one can be very tricky because I think it requires a lot more of a twitch base, as you have to constantly adjust your velocity, your size, which adjusts your velocity.
right.
Come on. Yeah, I
Like
can't.
for like that purple one and for the gold ones that are flying towards you, like those couple ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, like you're just gonna have to get bigger without being too big to hit
Yeah.
the mine. And here's another one that's just kind of like a puzzle one where you got to think about which ones you want to collect first.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
And
Let's
here's
see.
like two of them.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you about these when you actually have to match two at the same time.
Yeah,
This is just insane to like twist your
it's like
thinking.
multitasking. Oh, you only need one more on the. There you go.
Oh, but I missed. All right, let's see. Oh, again, you're constantly having to adjust where you're thinking. Come on.
Yeah,
There we
nice.
go. Much better. Now, this kind of thinking, was this kind of mechanic having two moons to adjust? Was this something that was going to be featured in other puzzles, or did you just keep it to these like very limited puzzles?
Actually, it was very widely used in the beginning of the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
for example, we even had it for Venus, Earth, all that stuff. Like Venus, for example, you can only boost in one direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you have multiple moons, like for example, you have three moons, wherever you click, all three moons boost to the same direction. And
Mm-hmm.
that made the levels extremely, extremely difficult.
Mm.
Um, so later on, eventually, we just kind of removed most of those levels because it's just too hard.
Yeah.
And I think there is one Mercury level that has multiple moons. There may be. I don't think there are any Earth levels that has multiple moons, which is kind of unfortunate because Earth levels, it actually is pretty fun if you have multiple moons. Like for this level,
Yeah.
that red asteroid that keeps on hitting you.
Yeah.
The trick is to get more mass ahead of before. So, like for example, collect one of these blue ones.
Okay.
That way you'll slow down a little bit, so that
Okay.
wouldn't hit you anymore.
Whoa. Let's see. Ooh.
Oh,
Let's see. Maybe I have to click. Let's see. Ooh. Again, it just really subverts what you're asking the player to do. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, I missed it.
yeah. Oh,
So close. So we have to hit. Okay, don't do that. Okay, shoot back.
yeah. It's all Twitch kind of mechanics.
Alright, let's see. Can we actually hit that? Oh,
Oh, close.
alright, we can at least get through. There, at least we got one.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, let's see. What do we have? Oh no, go and smash. Let's see. Let's try shrinking. So again, this one requires a lot more trial and error since you're just having to make these very minor corrections based on
Right.
the size and then how it's being pulled. So let's see, maybe if we, as you were saying earlier, part of the challenge is figuring out just which ones do I go for first.
Right. And you know, some people really like that. Some people, you know, can think about the mass and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I've never been able to like truly grasp the understanding of like, you know, which ones to go first, which ones like if I need to, what kind of how the mass would intuitively change my orbit. So maybe it's just me. So
Yeah.
if there was a, because Earth for you was extremely difficult and frustrating. For me, it's definitely just Saturn. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I keep hitting that. So maybe we go full. Okay, well, a little better. I'm gonna hit it this time. Come on. Oh no, I'm gonna hit. Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on. Let's see, where are we at? Uranus. Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah. One thing cool about the wormholes is that you can teleport literally anything in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So later on in the game, you really have a lot of freedom to do what you want to do. Like that gold one, for example, you can teleport that. Oh, you switch spots.
Or just do that. Okay, let's see. But yeah, definitely again. And you have to remember to right click to get rid of the wormhole after you switch. So go like that. There we go.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different play styles for the Uranus power.
Mm-hmm.
You see people who kind of teleport the moon and then go to where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also see a lot of people who just teleport only the asteroids. Like for example, this level, you can literally just teleport. Instead of teleporting your own moon, you can kind of teleport the asteroids away. Yeah, like that, and then just keep on staying in your orbit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's lots of different ways to play this game.
Yeah, I think for one of these, I actually just experimented like this. Oop.
Yeah, because it retains the velocity that you have at the time. So, like for example, this bowling. This is we call this the bowling level.
Oh,
close. Yeah. Oh, you teleported the gold one.
Let's see. Oh.
Oh. Oh, there you go. Gotta think with portals, right?
Oh, I miss.
Yeah, it's it is a little similar to Portal's gameplay. These levels.
Did you have to do any real play testing and balancing with this kind of mechanic?
This one not as much as we thought we needed, because it's surprisingly intuitive, at least compared to the rest of the. Compared to the rest of the mechanics that we have in the game.
Alright, what's happening here?
Oh yeah, this is the flybys.
And the music gives like a nice little piece here. How do you decide on what kind of music you want for Luna?
Actually, our lead level designer, David, he's also our composer. He wrote all the music in the game. So when he designed the levels, I mean, he just went ahead and wrote the music that he felt like it was fitting for the level kind of gameplay.
Here we go again.
Oh, here's the one where you have to babysit too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, David is he's actually a music composition major, and he's extremely skilled when it comes to writing music. And at one point, he even wrote his own concerto, actually, that was performed by the St. Olaf Orchestra. Nice. So all of his music are very classical in nature. Yeah, I think every song in this game was orchestrated.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. And for the Uranus and Pluto actually have just piano solos that he played.
Alright, what do we have here? That was just a complete guess. Oh, what is this now? More death
Oh,
lasers.
yeah. See, this is one of the levels that you can really be creative because the cool thing you can do in this level is you can actually move the nodes
You like
of the
that?
wall. You can use the wormhole to move the nodes of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just like try moving the node.
Let's see. Oh.
Oh,
I think I got it.
nice. Yeah, you got
Ooh. Aren't you a smarty pants?
it.
Alright. I think after this we'll move on.
Okay.
Oop.
Uh,
Let's see if we can do this.
nice.
But yeah, this is another one of the mechanics I do like, because as you can see, there's a lot of improvisation you can do with these portals.
Mm-hmm. I think this is another level that you can get 4 golds on,
Mm-hmm.
but it's extremely difficult.
Let's see.
I think there was before we released the game, there was a half a day
Mm-hmm.
where all of our level designers went around try to get 4 goals on this one to try to see whether or not it's still possible. And I think it took us a whole like half a day just to make sure that it actually happened.
Oop.
Oh.
There we go. Oh no. And again, each level, even though it's keeping with these basic mechanics, it has enough variety thanks to the powers and then what you're doing with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean each level is designed for like a different kind of play style. Oh, that looks
Yeah, that looks very bad. Alright. Let's see. Where are we at now? Neptune. Let's see. Let's check the chat. Okay. Oh yeah, this one. Oop. So obviously here, this is another one where you really do have, excuse me, control over where things are going. But it's a lot more interesting. I can speed things up a little bit.
Yeah, one thing with the black holes is, I mean, a black hole is literally just a temporary gravitational sink, and you can treat them almost as a planet. And the closer you are to a black hole, the more it's gonna affect you. And if you build a black hole tangent to your path, like for example what you're doing right now, you'll get into an actual orbit with the black hole.
So this is definitely one of the trickier ones, since you're basically trying to swing yourself around. Oh,
Yeah.
If I make it a little closer, no.
Maybe try making a black hole to like more to the right and more like to the down, more downwards, down to the down right. Yeah, there you go. Like that way you'll get a tighter curve. See,
There we go. Again, another very interesting mechanic. Now, you said that this one went through some different play testing.
Yeah, this one had a lot of mixed reviews. People either love it or hate it. I think people who usually hate it are people who don't really understand how black holes work, which is understandable. I mean, black holes are pretty confusing. You know, temporary gravitational sinks. It's a little hard to grasp when you're just jumping into a puzzle game that you're trying to have fun in.
And this
go
is
ahead.
definitely a mechanic that requires some trial and error, as you can see.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, like people who really understand planetary physics going into this game already. I think this is probably their favorite power because it's very straightforward. You know exactly what you're doing, and you feel like you have a lot of control, even though it's kind of like a different type of control.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, this isn't exactly a black hole, not like a real one. If there was a real black hole, everything would be sucked into it, and no one knows what's gonna happen. It's the truth here is we're really just creating a planet out of nowhere and kind of seeing how it behaves.
And what's interesting about this is, again, you're just really giving the player
nice.
control. Again, yeah, thank you. There's just a lot of improvisation you can do with this mechanic. And again, it has to do with that balance between giving the player control versus letting sort of the physics take over and guide the player that way.
Right.
So this one, Definitely another interesting one. Oof. And even then, you have to. It gets even more fancy when you have to exit out of the black hole. Yeah, I screwed up there. Let's see, maybe if we go up.
You have like 20 black holes on this level, so you can always create and destroy and change your change your path. We built this level solely to try to like show the power a little bit more. It's like what you can do when you build stuff tangent to your path.
Oop. Now what? Okay. Oh no. No. Oh. Again, another very interesting mechanic. So you said that the puzzle fans didn't like this mechanic as much as the physics fans?
Yeah, this is definitely a physics fan type of mechanic, which is perfect because we put it so late into the game that people who get this far are pretty much physics fans anyways.
Get back. Get back. Oh, I just blew up the wrong one there. That's when you click too fast. There we go. Come on. Nope, I missed it. Alright. Let's see. And we'll just speed through this again because we are getting pretty long and we are over an hour. I don't want to keep you all day, Z.
Yeah, no worries.
Alright, so we'll go to our final one, Pluto, for at least right now. I like the little message.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is definitely by far the hardest mechanic in the game. And what this is the mechanic that like true planetary physics fans love the most. I remember when we were showing this at a convention, there were two people who were engineers that like literally sat there and played this game for like maybe 2 hours.
Because of this one mechanic?
They only played Pluto, nothing else. They were trying to get all the gold ones on all the Pluto levels.
Yeah, Pluto.
And they were just like taking turns.
Yeah, this is just a trippy level.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's into puzzle games, because you're. Oh, come on, get back here. We'll just.
I call this the world's most frustrating escort mission.
I think that's pretty true there. Come on, get back here, you. And the piano music just. For some reason, it just really ties this together almost.
Yeah, it's the mood, right? It's like, yeah. It's actually the Pluto music was actually the first song that we had.
Come on.
Before we composed anything, the Pluto song was the first song that we that David composed to try to set the theme of the game on the playfulness of everything.
I mean, you really do have to be playful in this level. Look at this. So, was this another mechanic that you came up with pretty early on in the development?
Yeah, we always wanted Pluto to be, because in the beginning of this game, we made it so that Pluto was one of the main characters in the game. There were characters back then. And we made it so Pluto was the main character, and the whole game was this fairy called Luna. With Pluto, the two of them go on this journey in the solar system. That's kind of why the game is called Luna's Wandering Stars. It's because we had this character named Luna, which eventually got taken out, but we never changed the name. That's it's a long story behind that. But so Pluto was a character, and basically you go through the solar system, and then you help out all these planets by making their moons grow bigger by collecting mass, and that was the story of the game. And then ultimately at the end of the game, you're helping Pluto gain mass, and so that's how the final levels are designed. You kind of move Pluto as if you are that character, right? So we always wanted the planet to move as a mechanic, but we had it so that you had to use rockets to move Pluto instead of moving it willy-nilly like this, essentially. Like imagine if you're just playing Venus levels, but instead of moving your moon, you're moving Pluto and hoping that your moon would be able to collect stuff. So that's what old Pluto was like, and that was much more difficult than what it is now.
Yeah. So this one, again, as you were just saying with the physics fans, this is definitely one for them. I mean, look at this craziness here. You
can use Pluto to destroy the mines. Yeah, make
or
it
just
a lot
go
easier.
like that.
Yeah.
No, get back here. Nope.
Yeah,
As
see,
you
that's
said, this
that's
is
where
the
the
insanity of the first. This is an escort mission deluxe
yeah.
here. Come on, get
Yeah,
back
it's
here,
the
you.
it's almost like you're playing Resident Evil 4 and you're like going out there to shoot stuff and then Ashley ends up following you and gets shot for it. And it's like when you go out there to try to kill the mines
Mhm.
and then you end up dragging the moon into you because of
Mhm.
it. That's and then it hits the mine afterwards. That's the
Mhm.
escort mission part of this game.
Come on, get back here, you. Oh no. Come on.
Yeah, but from something like this, you really build a very intuitive sense of how physics works
Mhm.
in space. It's I mean, wherever your mouse is literally where
The
the
gravity.
gravity is, and you can see how you really play around with it. Just because you're close to the moon doesn't mean it's gonna kill. It doesn't mean it's gonna crash into you instantly.
Mhm.
In fact, you can be close to it the whole time, and all you have to do is move your thing,
Mhm.
and it would, it would be okay still.
Oh.
Oh, oh, it knocked everything away.
Take that. But yeah, again, it's just a very interesting mechanic. Now, as we're going through, what's next for Luna? Like, what are some? Can you give us any teasers of some of the later mechanics you're thinking of?
So one of the things that we were really thinking of was, well, porting it to the Wii U actually, or
Mhm.
porting it to mobile devices. But ultimately, it's gonna have to come down to the sales, of this game.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, this game isn't doing as well as we hoped for on Steam, and I guess that happens a lot when you have your first Steam game released.
Mhm.
It's really hard to understand just how the Steam community works, right?
Mhm.
And a puzzle game like this, it's not quite geared towards the Steam audience ultimately.
Mhm.
The Steam audience usually looks for something a little bit more, like shooter based or
Mhm.
indie, small indie titles, or maybe more something more art oriented.
Mhm.
And this game, it's not focused on either of those. It's more of a just level design and mechanics design.
It's a
So, we're still in discussions about what's next
Mhm.
for Luna. It's very likely that this is just it, and there's
Okay.
really nothing more beyond, releasing the editor, releasing the online portions, and maybe some of the challenge levels that we had, and that's
Mhm.
probably going to be the whole game right there in a package.
Oh, it's a shame because again, I do enjoy this game. Have you been pitching it towards people who are more interested in physics or like the educational aspect of it?
We have, and here's the sad part about all this.
Uh-oh.
People who are in education, we actually talk to the people who write like the CSAPs or like the SATs and all that
Uh-huh.
stuff, and to talk about or like the AP system here in the US.
Mhm.
We talk about, we talk to them about how we can have more of an educational support, I guess, from the educational world,
Mhm.
regarding this game. And ultimately, their answer is, well, if you can't show that this game is going to increase AP test scores
Oh.
or SAT test scores, then the government is never going to be able to fund or have give you any kind of
Mm.
marketing support.
Ah.
So, and because we designed the game purely on a fun basis, as opposed to a, hey, here's the equation,
Mhm.
enter the number, whatever,
Yeah.
like we designed it to be more fun. So it's really hard for us to prove that this is actually going to be like a straight up educational experience, even
Ah.
though we all know kids who play this
Yeah.
are gonna be learning something,
It's about the passive learning that involves with this,
right?
and it sort of reminds you of the conversation we had with the first educational games podcast, where we talked about the challenge of the fact that a lot of schools, a lot of testing, or I'm sorry, a lot of courses are based about teaching to the tests or to the
Right,
Common Core. So unless it's directly related to that, a lot of school boards and a lot of administrations just aren't interested in it. Which is
right.
a shame because this would be a really good game just as something in there. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Again, just as something to teach kids passively. This couldn't be a game that you could design like an entire course curriculum around, obviously, but it could be something to get them interested in physics, get them interested in the planets. I mean, hell, just teaching people basic astronomy could work with us, just teaching some, what are the 9 or I guess quote unquote 8 planets in the solar system.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, that was actually one of the things. One of the things when the educators saw this game,
Hmm.
the first thing they pointed out is, oh, actually, the best teaching part of this game is probably the fact that you get to learn the order of the planets in the solar system. So, I mean,
Again, yep.
one of our game designers on the team actually didn't know that this was the real order of the solar system until maybe like a couple months later. He's like, "Oh, really? This is actually the order of how the planets are?" It's like I just thought we put it all together, just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we have to change, the old no, not PEMDOS, My Very Eager Muller, whatever, now that we don't have Pluto. So we need to come with a new jingle for that.
Yeah.
Come on, you get in there. Again, it's such a real like mind flip when you're getting to this level.
Yeah, because you're the whole game you spend trying to collect, and you're the moon the whole game, and you're trying to collect the asteroids. And then now all of a sudden you're the planet, and whenever you touch an asteroid, you destroy it. It's really annoying.
Get back! No, stop.
Escort mission. It's like suddenly you're playing a different character.
For some reason, I get this like feeling that it reminds me of like curling almost, where you're trying to just keep adjusting the trajectory while it's in motion. But maybe that's just me from looking at this too much. Oh,
yeah,
no.
Definitely. I can see that.
Get back here, you.
Because nothing you do is ever instantaneous.
Yeah.
In rocket science.
Oh,
that was a good save on the killing the node.
Get back here. Again, it's just it doesn't seem hard, but then you play into the realistic physics at work, and you can just see just how crazy it is to adjust this. Oh. Alright, let's see. Anything else I actually unlocked? We'll go to the final one I unlocked in Pluto, I guess.
What you can do is if you go back to the menu, here I'll tell you a secret code, to let you unlock all the levels. We actually have this debug mode in the game where you can unlock all the levels of the game. If you're interested, it's up to you.
No, I'll keep to this. I think.
Okay,
gotta be progression, man.
Okay, all right, no worries.
You gotta earn it, right?
Yeah. One of the cool parts about this level is that if you can aim it perfectly, you can actually go up off the screen. And then you can destroy the node of the death wall. It's like just different ways. Yeah, it's really far. So if you scroll out, you might not even be able to see it.
Zoom out.
But you just have to go all the way. There you go. You destroyed it.
Take that, game designer. Take that, Z. I just broke your game for you.
It's one of the ways to be, because the planet going outside the bounds is fine, as long as the moon doesn't go outside the bounds. So you can do that to destroy the death wall.
That's how you solve puzzles here. Oh, oh, I hit the edge of the. Let's see.
Yeah. So you just gotta make sure you don't actually run into the wall though.
Yeah. Where is it?
It's not very easy.
It's a nice cheat, but it's not an easy one.
Yeah. It's just like a funny little way for you to like beat this level too. It's just like all these different things that we know that exist, and then we're like, oh, that's really interesting. Well, might as well keep it because it's actually kind of fun. It's like for players who find out, certain different special ways of beating a level, we kind of like to keep it there just so that it's like rewarding, right? It rewards thinking outside the box.
And it's just like the labyrinth level we showed earlier, where you have this basic rule set, but then you can really exploit it in interesting ways. No. Oh. Alright, let's try it for real, and then I think we'll probably wrap it up. Let's see. And that piano music just keeps on going.
Yeah.
Get back here, you. Oh. But yeah, this can definitely be a very polarizing, I think, mechanic, as you're saying, just because of how you're having to figure out the velocity at the same time you're trying to adjust the moon. And the moon is completely tied to your mouse pointer, too, which makes things extra. Oh, get back here, you. Okay. It's going to give you a lot of time on this level, because I think you're going to need it. Okay. Get back down. There we go.
There you go.
One. No. No.
Oh. Oh.
No, we're not. What? Oh no, I think I'm gonna run out of time. Oh no. Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
way.
that was a
So close.
yeah, so close.
Alright, but I think we've shown a really good representation of Luna. We've gone through all 9 planets. It'd be interesting to see what your fans will come up with once you release the level editor. I
Oh
wonder if
yeah.
that will give the game some new life. So you said that you're aiming to get this out in time for the Steam sale, which at the time of this live play, I think is only like a week or so out.
Yeah, yep. That's around the time we're planning on releasing that. Because I think that's probably gonna be the time that we're gonna have most of the sales.
Mm-hmm.
We're probably gonna have a slap on some percentages off and just have have the game be on the specials for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and that way it'll give a lot of players to try out the game, to play the levels, make their own levels, share it, and perhaps have more of a community that way.
Okay. I think with that, I'm just about out. I think, again, I really enjoyed the game. See, I'm more from the puzzle side than I am physics, but as I said in my review, I do like the variety that you guys came up with all the different mechanics. And hopefully this Steam sale will do well for you guys. So I would like to see, what else you can come up with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for doing all the work that you do to help feature the game
Hmm.
and get the word out there. I mean, these are the things that really help indies like us to try to get our name out there too,
Yeah.
because our marketing budget is essentially $0.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all we have.
All right. So I think with that, we'll wrap things up. So before we say goodbye, Z, do you have any final thoughts, anything you want to just say to conclude the video?
I mean, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to try out the game, to
Mhm.
feature the game, and do all the hard work that you do. I mean, you're really good at this game, actually. You got pretty far. Not a lot of people get there. If you look at the Steam achievements, you can exactly see how far people get, and I think it's only like a few percentages of people that actually even get to all the planets. So, thank you again for taking the time to try
Yeah.
out the game. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. Definitely spread the word about Game Wisdom, and if you have any developer friends who have games also for this, definitely give out my name because I love to look at these games and talk with developers about designs. This is pretty much like my go-to topic. I can sit here and talk for hours about things like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to be at E3, by the way?
I don't think I'm going to make it. Budget is tight, and I don't think I really have the funding to get there. I'm going to try to get to GDC for next year, but I don't know for sure. It really depends on how well the site will go and, financial things of that nature.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, GDC next year will definitely be there.
Hmm.
So maybe we can finally meet in person
Yeah,
and talk about some game designs in person.
awesome. All right. Just for you, Z, if you wouldn't mind just hang on for a few minutes after we close the stream, I just have a few questions I want to run with you off the chat.
All right, no worries.
Let's see. So I think with all that said, we're going to wrap things up. For those of you who've been watching this live, thanks so much for tuning in. If you've been enjoying this on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. That'll help me out a lot. And make sure to check out game-wisdom.com for posts and podcasts relating to game design and the industry, as well as our ongoing Patreon campaign to secure some much-needed monthly funding to keep all this going and to pay those annoying bills. You can find me on Patreon under Game Wisdom or Josh Beiser, and any donation would be greatly appreciated. And lastly, for the YouTube crowd, if you would like to watch some of these videos live, especially when we do more developer stuff, you can interact and talk with developers like Z. You can find me on Twitch under GW Beiser. And if you, I think, subscribe to the channel, I think that's free. You'll get updates whenever we post, whenever the stream starts live. There you go. Took a little bit to get that tongue twister out. But with all that said, again, Z, I'd like to thank you for coming on. I do wish you guys the best of luck with Luna's Wandering Stars when the Steam sale starts. And hopefully things will do well for you. And I can't wait to see what else you guys will come up with next.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time again.
Yeah, not a problem. So, for those of you watching, again, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check back real soon for more videos and spotlights on a variety of games. And I will talk to you again next time. Take care, everybody. Okay. There we go, and see you later.